All right, and we are back with a new episode of Real in the Field. Thank you, as always, Blake Means and Nate Taken for the intro music. Coming off a lukewarm weekend of no football, just Netflix and HBO.
In the Pro Bowl.
And the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Whatever that is. Dude, it is terrible.
It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty not good.
Yeah, so back in the day, the Pro Bowl was an actual game where the guys actually played and somewhat got after it.
Yeah, but nobody made an announcement that the poll. I don't know if they did. I didn't catch it. It's like all of a sudden one year you're like, hey, did we miss the Pro Bowl? It was on a different channel?
Yeah, it was a couple years, I think 2 years ago or so, give or take. And they changed it to flag football.
Yeah.
And they changed it to like events and dodgeball and all this stuff. Dude, it is terrible. It's super embarrassing.
It used to be, it was like a fun event, and it usually happened like after the Super Bowl, and everybody would just kind of like, was not playing full force. Everybody was just kind of mailing it in, but it was still like entertaining to see. But now you just have kick, punt, and pass competition.
Well, now they've mailed it in, but they have flags on.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad.
It's still football. No, it's not. No.
Like, I get it. They don't want to get hurt and
Right.
stuff like that. I totally understand.
Yeah.
But they need to cancel it, or they need to create some type of other event. I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
I just know it's not what I watched 20 minutes of. Like,
You
that's
didn't like-
that's not the answer.
Yeah. I don't know if they're just trying to add some like fun to the game, make it like a fun little thing that they do, but
Yeah, which is understandable. But I do see them pushing the flag football a lot.
yeah.
And to see the NFL guys doing it, like, I would not be shocked if the NFL tries to do an offshoot NFL flag.
Oh, a flag football
flag
league.
type league.
Yeah.
Right. And then it'll have that trickle down flag football, right? Because in youth sports, flag football is big, right?
Yeah,
my
that's
my
true.
kids, play flag and stuff like that. But
Oh, it's even gotten to girls flag football league.
girls flag
That's like
football.
it came out
now
of nowhere.
It's like a legit CIF sport.
Yeah.
Right? They have playoffs and the whole deal. So I wouldn't be shocked 20, 30 years from now. Like, dude, you're seeing flag maybe everywhere. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't.
The NFL doesn't do stuff without having a reason.
No,
We
everything
talked
is
about
well,
it with the international games.
Yeah, it's all well planned out. There's a
Well, the international games, right? They started here. They started there.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the Rams are going to Australia.
They
next
took
year.
away a home game from the Rams here in SoFi and said we're going to do it all on the old Outback there.
Yeah. So they have games in Mexico.
Yeah.
Right. London. Australia.
Yeah, that one seems like it's. I mean, they're going to have to line up that game with the bye week after, because there's no way that you come off of that kind of flight to get acclimated to that time change and then come back and have to like redo it. But yeah, it's all with purpose for sure. I think the NFL has shown year after year they do things with purpose. They really don't just roll the dice on things. They have some kind of plan there.
No, they're very like government style, where they just like give a little bit.
It's purposeful, yeah.
And then just kind of see where it goes, and then next thing you know, it's there.
Yeah.
If the NFL wants it, it's going to happen. Period.
All right. Well, we've gone way off topic and
Okay.
went deep into the trenches on what ifs, but the weekend's coming up. The Super Bowl's coming up. All the players are in media day. That's like the start. It's that whole week of doing interviews, talking to reporters, fielding questions, and Kelsey and Mahomes are both fielding questions from Yahoos asking about refs and it's all everybody can talk about.
Well, Kelsey kind of leaned into the issue.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw a clip. He kind of bashed the media.
Yeah.
It was like, why you guys believe in this? Why you guys like leaning into
Oh,
this
yeah.
thing?
He came out swinging for sure.
He seemed like somewhat irritated, right? He did it somewhat in a laughing, joking manner, but you could tell he was kind of like, dude, what do you...
I would imagine like being on the opposite side of it, like, working so hard. And I think after last week's episode of just kind of going so hard, I will kind of ease up a little bit and kind of see it from the other perspective, which these guys work their asses off to get to this position, and to be told you got there because of refs, totally can understand where he's coming from. That doesn't erase like kind of what we're all seeing, but you could still understand his position and being so annoyed and irritated that you're at the Super Bowl. You're doing media for the Super Bowl, and the questions that you're having to answer and field are refs. And I could see where that would get annoying. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, he took a question from again some Yahoo that that asked him, of all the players, or sorry, of all the people that have helped him win, who was the ref that he's like most thankful for? And he took it in stride. Clever. Yeah, it was really funny. He took it in stride and wasn't he didn't have the Kelsey response. He was a little bit more cool and collected.
Yeah, Chris Sims, he made a video kind of saying how it's impossible. You have all these referees, and you think the NFL's in, big collusion, this big conspiracy. It's absolutely impossible for it to happen. Like it's dumb, right? Teams lose, and they look for reasons why they lost. And so they're going to go back and find, what about this play? What about that play?
Yeah.
And the Chiefs just win and they move on.
Right. I mean, with that, it makes sense. You win a game, you don't go back and look at the game, break down the game field and see where you went right. But losing teams will go back and try and point out where things went wrong. And maybe that's refs. I mean, there's plenty of things that happen during a game, no calls or bad calls. But, I think in the end, you still see a lot of. I mean, I'm not going to argue with Chris Sims and his take. In fact, I think I said it in that last episode. I do agree that I don't think it's a conspiracy or collusion, but I think, and I'm sticking with this. I still think it's Andy Reid game planning and somehow outsmarting everybody on these calls.
Okay, so with that in mind. Okay. I looked up some facts, so I'm just going to give you a little bit. I don't want
just a short bit.
Yeah, I don't want to be a stat rat. I'm not going to stat rat it up. I'm just giving you a couple things to paint a picture why people are upset.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go with that angle, and then we'll go with the angle of maybe defending the Chiefs a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll play devil's advocate.
We'll give a little bit of some nuance. We're a podcast of nuance. We, we're not a Chiefs hater.
No,
we're fair.
We're trying to be fair
and balanced is what I would say we are.
Okay, so here we go. This goes back to 2021.
Okay.
So we got a couple years here of data. So in the regular season, okay, the Chiefs had less penalty yardage than their opponents, okay, 39% of the time.
Okay.
Less penalty yardage, 39%. Okay. They had more penalty yards 55% of the time.
In the regular season?
In the regular season.
Okay.
So a couple more penalties in the regular season, right?
Balance wasn't exactly balanced. It was more tipping on the regular season that they'd have more penalties.
Have more penalties. Mm-hmm. Okay. So with that being said, you jump to the playoffs. Yeah. Still same timeline. Playoffs. 2021 and on. They've had 11 playoff games.
Okay.
Okay. Out of that 11, how many times have they had more penalties than their opponents, do you think?
I would say 3 times.
0.
Okay, 0.
0. So they have literally not had more penalties than everyone they've played.
Okay.
It is 0 out of 11 games.
I mean, that's a pretty big
That's kind of odd.
Stat.
That's kind of odd if you're during the regular season, you're 55% having more.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden it drops down to 0.
0.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
So if you go yardage wise, so they've had in the playoffs 36 total penalties.
Okay.
319 yards. Their opponents have had 66 penalties for 541 yards.
Whoa.
So that's a huge penalty difference.
Yeah.
Right. So that they do like this ratio thing. So they're like +9, where that's kind of significant.
That's a big number. Yeah. That delta, the difference between those that's substantial.
Yeah.
And especially when you look at it against like the regular season.
Yeah. And it's all under the microscope, playoff wise, right?
Yeah.
So it's all on the microscope. Again, comparing to the regular season. So last little bit. So Defensive pass interference or holding calls.
Okay.
The Chiefs had 3. Their opponents had 11.
Oh, wow.
Roughing the passer. Chiefs have 1. Their opponents have 7.
Jeez, that's
unnecessary roughness. The Chiefs have 1. Their opponents have 4.
That's not that big of a difference, but okay. Let's talk about the rebuttal.
So that's just the facts.
Those are the
so
facts.
let's go to rebuttal then.
The rebuttal on that. If I'm just kind of looking at those stats, there could be an explanation in the style of running that Patrick Mahomes does. And not saying the flops, I'm not saying the baiting, but I'm just saying he is a mobile quarterback who fights for extra yards.
He's elusive.
Yeah. And he does. He makes things happen with his feet. If you took Peyton Manning's stats on that, it would be 0. Like, the guy he's not mobile. The second that he starts,
or neither was Tom Brady.
Yeah. The second that they felt the pressure, Peyton Manning was like, it was funny to see him just kind of like fall to the ground and just, practically take a knee, give himself up, because that was his style. He would rather just take the loss of down, get back, and, live to fight another day.
Yeah.
Whereas Patrick Mahomes doesn't let if the pocket is collapsing, he's not just falling to his knee, taking it, and just moving on. He's making some stuff happen. And I think with that comes some extra,
okay. Well,
contact.
Okay. Well, I'm going to rebuttal the rebuttal. Most of the time with running quarterbacks or guys who like to sit in the pocket a while, okay, and can move around and buy time, usually the O-line gets more holding calls.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But let's stay with the rebuttal for the Chiefs. Dude, they're in those moments all the time.
Yeah.
So you got to think they're used to the big stage, and the teams that they're playing maybe a little bit nervous, couple more penalties.
Yeah.
Maybe the lights are a little bit too bright for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So that could be something while these teams are getting more penalties than they are.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I could buy that. Yeah. I mean, when you're a winning organization, you're a winning team, there's a little bit more to lose. And I think there's, I could see that being the case. Okay. It would be interesting to see like a team like Cleveland and what their stat sheets look like on penalties and, how the quarterback looks and what kind of penalties he's getting in comparison.
Yeah. So the other one is a rebuttal is, dude, they're well coached. They're well coached. I've coached against very good, disciplined teams, and they don't get penalties because they're very well coached, they're disciplined, and that's how their organization is.
Yeah.
Or on the flip side, you play teams who are undisciplined, sloppy, but most of the time, those types of teams don't make it to the playoffs.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's a simple, easy. Oftentimes the most basic answer is the right answer, and it could come down to coaching. It is just, it's hard to accept that when you see some things that are pretty blatant, and some of these things that give the Chiefs opportunities. And I think the timing of them, it is a little suspect. But I think if you were to take that, because that stat that you're talking about, that stat sheet or stat line, it's a combination or just a culmination of all of the penalties, just kind of condensed or distilled down to like one line item. When you look at it in the game, it's this is real time. It's a little bit different, and it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, pivotal moments. It could be a penalty being called, not called, but also spotting of the ball.
Yeah.
Right? Spots, like, dude, and that stuff's huge. I mean, we saw it with the Bills last week and stuff.
Right.
So, but we do always talk about Andy Reid being a really good coach.
I'm telling you, man, I'm sticking with that.
We got to give that some due.
I think that, to your point about being well coached, I think it's it's being well coached in every facet of the game, and that I think includes how to get calls or not get calls. I mean, I don't know. I think that's just, when you're talking about a game of inches, and you're talking about the difference between being in the Super Bowl and missing the Super Bowl. It can come down to inches, and if you're coaching those inches and just making sure that little bit doesn't go unnoticed, I think that could again be like the simple basic answer to this is just they're better coached.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback on what you said last week of how Andy Reid knows the refs, maybe knows how the refs are gonna call the game. And maybe he relays that info to the players really well. And so the players like execute that well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like maybe there's something to that.
There's something, yeah. And I think that, the NFL has, for better or for worse, has just ignored it. They've said some things about going into next season where things are going to be reviewed. I think a lot of that maybe
the slide.
Yeah, it probably comes from the players.
Slide that.
Yeah, the players union that is, advocating for this thing, I would imagine. But for this season and for this year, a lot of it's going unrecognized by the NFL. Again, for better or for worse, there is that, ignoring it. It kind of makes it a little like, fans are hemming and hawing. But I think if they were to acknowledge it, I think, that also gives it credence. So they're in this weird no man's land of what do we do? Do we acknowledge that there's something going on and do something about
just
it?
Hope it goes away.
Hope it goes away. Yeah. Or do we just ignore it?
So obviously it's a factor on everyone's mind, right? Like it can't be ignored anymore.
Yeah.
Right. It is made headlines. It's a deal now.
Right.
So my question to you, is it going to affect the game?
It's a good question. I think that the refs, unless they've just locked themselves in a room and haven't turned on any social media or haven't watched any coverage.
Impossible.
No, dude, they're listening to this podcast, I'm sure.
I know.
All 120 or 130 of them listen to this podcast. So I think that it's out there, but it's a weird, what is the response? Because they're human.
That's what I'm
They're
thinking.
human. And do you have like a contrarian who's just going to double down on it? And when it's a split-second decision, he's going to, throw his middle finger up and say, yeah, if you're going to complain, you've had like you've gone to a restaurant, right? And you get to a point where you can get to a fork in the road where a manager can like be nice and kind of be agreeable, or be an a-hole and double down on this mistake or whatever it is. And more often than not, they pick the ladder. Yeah, and it can escalate things. And I mean, they're human. I think that has to play one way or the other.
Yeah.
Or do they look at, I don't want to be blamed for something, so I'm going to
that's what I'm thinking.
Call it the other way. I don't think you can. It's like when you do jury selection, if someone's heard about a case or something, there's a reason why they exclude those people from a case, because it can have an effect on the case and their decision making. You know what I mean?
And what would be really bad is if like maybe the first flag, 2 flags, 3 flags are all going the Chiefs' way. Dude, and if the crowd starts to like get into it and stuff, and you get that reaction out of the crowd, and gosh, I don't know. I think it will have an effect. I think, like you were saying, it's going to be in back of some of the refs' minds. Maybe I'm not going to call that.
Yeah,
I don't want to be accused of it.
Yeah,
but there might be that back judge who's like, "Fuck it."
Yeah,
he's gonna call everything or something.
Look, I'm okay with. I think if I were to err on one side or the other, or if I were to, if a ref was sitting right here, and we were talking to him and saying like, "Listen, going into this game, like I want you to do this, or I would prefer that you did this." I feel like I would just prefer to let them play. Don't let the game be determined on a penalty. Yes, call it how you see it, but also be consistent throughout the entire game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the parts, in all of this like hoopla is the inconsistency. Calling one penalty one play and then not calling it the other, or vice versa.
Yeah. If there was a ref sitting here, my biggest thing would be call the obvious stuff All the blatant and obvious stuff, call it.
Yeah.
Everything else, let them play.
Yeah.
Right. If a guy false starts, call it.
Yeah.
If the guy's offsides, call it.
Yeah.
If they do an illegal motion, call it. But other than that, if there's something that's like, oh, I'm not sure, don't do it.
Well, how about if it affects the play too? And that's hard to call in real time.
Yeah, that's hard to
but
know.
But on a backside where, oh man, this is so. This is like getting so like into it because there are things that, okay, if a receiver is going to hold a defender and the play's away, that doesn't affect the play, right? But
hold on, okay. I was gonna say, because I've complained to refs before. Our defensive end's getting hold on this side, and he comes over and goes, "Coach, the ball ran the other direction." Then
the next play,
then I said, "What if that dude stopped and cut back, and my dude's on the ground?"
It's true. Yeah, it's a good point. And then it also sets the precedent. So if that next play, that the defensive, the DN's getting held again because the tackle's gotten away with it on the previous play, and now you call it, there's some inconsistency here.
Yes.
You know, being a ref's a lot harder than I think we gave.
So long story short, is it going to affect the game? Yes.
I think it is. I don't think you could get away from what people are talking about. It's out there now.
Everyone's going to be watching.
Everyone
and looking
is
for it.
Everyone is going to be. I mean, in that like refs meeting, I'm sure they're going to be discussing this. Listen, it's widely talked about now. Everybody has an opinion on this. We need to be on our we need to have a game plan going into this. We're calling it. We have to have like a concerted effort to make the right calls, be consistent in these big moments. Let's in these big moments, or if it's going to affect the play, let's bring in not like a binary penalty or not penalty, but let's add a little bit of the human element to it and say, okay, is this is this the spirit of the rule, or is this we're just going to call it how we see it? It's such a. I mean, I guess that's what makes this all the more frustrating, is because. It should be black and white. If someone's holding, they should be held.
Yeah.
Well,
there's penalties on every play.
There's penalties on every play. It's the extent of the play, but then, it's just so much more. And I guess the more we talk about, the more like I kind of understand.
I just feel like we're getting deeper and deeper.
We're getting deeper into
we're in the weeds. We're in the weeds.
We're in the weeds, and it's like getting more and more obscure. Yeah. And the reality of the situation is, what do you like? There's so yes, there are penalties every single play. Do you call everything as you see it, regardless of what the outcome is? And if that's the case, you're calling every single thing that's out there. Yeah. And if you let them get away with this, like how far do you let it? How far do you let them get away with X, Y, or Z?
I don't know, dude.
I think we backed ourselves into a corner here.
I don't know. So, but that's. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens. But
yeah. Well, hopefully it's not a decision. It's not going to be the come down to a penalty that's going to affect the outcome of the game, and just let them play. And we'll see how it goes.
Let's take a break.
All right, we'll take a break. We're going to come back with a little bit of a lighter mood here.
Yep.
We'll do Super Bowl food quiz.
Super Bowl food quiz.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back after this.
This episode is brought to you by Cigar Spots. Cigar Spots is located in the Circle of Orange.
Yeah, they have all your big brands like Fuente, Padron, Tatuaje, Ilusión. I mean, they've got pretty much every brand that you can imagine. My favorite, my go-to is always the Tatuaje brand. I like the specific 2012 Sumatra. That's my smoke. What do you got?
Nice. I've been going with the Tatuaje Red Label.
Yeah, Red Label's good. So they do at-home delivery. You can place your order online, and they'll deliver your cigars straight to your house. Or you can order for pickup. You can actually order online, and then they'll have it ready for you. You can just swing in, put some hazards on, and go and pick up your cigars and be done.
And don't forget the promo code.
Promo code Tony Joe when you check out, and get yourself 20% off your order. So visit cigarspots.com and use that promo code Tony Joe. All right, and we are back from break. All right, J. Mitch, give us the old food quiz.
All right, here we go. Super Bowl food quiz. It can be multiple choice if you would like it.
Sure.
So
Let me try and start off with guessing the actual thing.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Well, give us the game first, actually.
Okay, so there's 8 questions.
Okay.
All kind of Super Bowl related food questions. So like, yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty
self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, here we go. Number 1. 1 in blank Americans order takeout during the Super Bowl. So I'm looking for a number.
1 in blank Americans order take all of them. One out of 2. Okay, I'll go
guess.
5. 1 out of 5.
Okay, so here are your choices: 1 out of 7, 1 out of 15, 1 out of 33.
I'll go lowest. 1 out of 7.
That is correct.
Thank you. Yes.
1 out of 7 Americans order takeout. Right after Thanksgiving, the Super Bowl Sunday is the second most popular day to order takeout.
Really?
Yeah. So
no one wants to cook. I mean, everyone's gonna just you might get that like blowhard that's like got like some good wings that he wants to show off, but otherwise, dude, we're ordering Valentinos and
or a good dip. A good dip.
Oh, good dip. Okay,
artichoke dip.
I'll give you that. We can. My wife makes a good bean chili dip.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
but
go.
Otherwise, everything else is getting ordered.
Yeah. So that ends up being like 48 million Americans.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Question number 2.
All right.
What % of takeout orders are pizza on that day?
Percentage?
Percentage.
I'll go 83%.
Okay. Multiple choice. 10, 46, or 60.
Oh, highest one, 60. And that's going to be like even low. I think they're not counting like pickup orders or something.
60% of takeout orders are pizza.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good.
And then the other 20% are, I called it in, I'm going to go pick it up because I don't want to pay for the delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. So 60% takeout pizza. There you go.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Number 3. Ooh, this one's... Here we go. How many chicken wings are eaten on this day?
All right. I'm going to do quick math here. I'm going to say every party has at least 15 people. Each one of those 15, there's going to be about 7 of them that eat chicken wings, that go for the wings, and each one can do about 4 wings. So I'm going to say 28 per household. And there are...
You doing the math over there, Einstein?
I'll go 17 million.
Not even close.
330 million.
1.25 billion
Good
chicken
Lord.
wings are eaten.
Oh my God. No, that makes sense. I forgot to carry the 1.1 billion.
1.25 billion wings are consumed, which equals to about 162.5 million pounds of chicken wings. So that weekend alone is responsible for 7% of the chicken wing sales all year.
Wow, 7% on one day.
Yeah.
Well, not this year. We got the bird flu that's wiped out everything. So you better get some. Celery sticks,
chicken tenders, or something.
Yeah, I'll get some sausage links or something.
All right, here we go. Number 4. What chips are preferred on Super Bowl Sunday? Potato or tortilla chips?
I would say, well, because the universal dipping chip is the tortilla chip, the Mexican tortilla chip that you would get. So Tostitos, that's a universal. If you're going like Lay's or Doritos, that's a specific chip that you have like with a sandwich. It complements that. But the tortilla chip, you can dip it in guac, you can dip it in salsa, you can dip it in that as previously mentioned, that bean dip, that chili dip that my wife makes. It is more universal. So final answer, corn.
The potato chip happens to be the favorite. 11.2 million pounds of potato chips, 8.2 million pounds of tortilla chips are purchased. So there you go.
All right.
Those chips. Wow. Number 5. How many pounds of avocados are eaten on this day?
I'll go. It was pounds or avocados?
Oh, this is poundage.
Pounds. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. How much does an avocado weigh?
That's a good question. Core or no core? Pit or no pit? Skin? I'll go I think I used 330 million before, so I'll go with that. 330 million pounds.
Well, I'm going to give you some numbers. Okay. 555,000 pounds.
Oh.
129 million pounds, or 1.1 billion pounds.
I'll split it. I'll go 550 million, or 120. Oh, wait, what was the number? The middle one.
The middle one, 129 million pounds.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
129 million pounds used to make guac and be accessories on tacos and etc.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Can't go wrong with some guac.
Number 6, 10% of Americans use this on Super Bowl Sunday.
10% of Americans use this. A grill. Is that right?
Yeah.
No way.
Did you see this?
No, I swear to God, I didn't see it.
10% of Americans use their grill during this weekend of Super Bowl.
Well, I just did I reverse engineered it, and when I was talking about that Yahoo that's got to make his wings or he's got to make his burger, everybody else is ordering. So whatever that number was, I just went, all right.
It is second only to the 4th of July.
Yeah.
An estimated that 14 billion hamburgers are made.
Wow.
And then you got hot dogs and steaks and brats and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Veggies maybe thrown in there?
Yeah. You got little veggies.
Nice.
All right. Number 7. Which healthy snack is the most popular on Super Bowl Sunday?
Healthy snack. Okay. If you have that many chicken wings, you have to have the complement, what complements them, the accoutrement, if you will, carrots and celery.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Like they're like the accessories to wings. Like I've never gotten a plate of wings without celery or carrots.
But what was that fancy term you said?
Accoutrement.
Is that like a real?
It's a real word. Yeah, it's a French word.
Oh, okay. No, I've never heard it before.
You've heard it in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
I don't remember when, but okay. I believe
It's the things that accompany the main dish. In this case, it's the wings, and so the accessories to it, or the what goes with it, is the accoutrement.
All right, there you go. Okay,
So
I'll give you. You want? Some?
I'm gonna say carrot and celery.
Okay, so here's your choices. You got a fruit tray, nuts and popcorn, or a veggie tray.
Oh, it's got to be veggie tray.
No. It is popcorn and nuts.
Really?
They lead the pack on the popular, somewhat healthy snack.
I've literally never gone to a Super Bowl party that served popcorn and nuts.
3.8 million pounds of popcorn, 2.5 million pounds of nuts.
That sounds really low.
Yep. Well, I don't know how much nuts weigh. So there you go. All right. Bonus question number 8. Last one. What are the 2 most popular beverages consumed on this day?
2 most? Oh, it's got to be beer, and it's not going to be wine. It's not going to be seltzers. I mean, I guess beer and Coke. Those are the 2. Or soda, pop.
Beer and soda
are
the ones. 325.5 million gallons of beer.
Gee, that sounds low too.
That's oh my God, dude, that's 50 million cases of beer.
15 million?
50 million.
Oh, 50 million.
50 million cases of beer.
Wow.
Enough to fill Olympic-sized pool 2,000 times.
That still doesn't sound like that much. I feel like, I mean, maybe it's just how many beers we're going to drink. So that I'm judging that by.
And then just millions of dollars spent on soda.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. Yeah, so there's a Super Bowl food quiz.
All right, that was money. All right, we're going to take another break. We'll come back.
Prop bets.
Do some prop bets and, finalize that. All right, we'll take a break and we'll come back after this. All right, this episode is brought to you by Pro West Electrical. Pro West Electrical is owned by our friend, who we went to high school with, Anthony Sabasco. He's got over 15 years of electrical experience. His company does panel replacement, do recessed lighting. They actually did all the electrical and the recessed lighting in my house. They do switches, EV chargers, Ring doorbell. They'll change a light bulb in your house if you want them to, if you pay them to.
That's right. And you can visit their website, prowestelectrical.net, or you give them a call, 714-306-1570.
Pro West Electrical, powering up your world. All right, we are back from break. All right, J. Mitch. We got some prop bets here. What do we got?
It's that time of year where we throw out all our prop bets for the Super Bowl, similar to the ones we did last year.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed them last year, so we're going to do them again.
Run it back, yeah.
All right.
Go on our betonline.ag. Use promo code TonyJoe. Get yourself no discount, but see if it works.
Here we go. Number one, the national anthem. It's going to be sung by John Batiste.
John Bautiste. Yeah.
Apparently Grammy Award winner.
Yeah,
so I'm not familiar with his work, but
yeah, he's pretty prolific. He's like a really, really talented artist, like sing, piano. He did like a 2020 interview where he just like came up with a song right on the spot. He's like very talented.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we do our over under a minute 43.
I will go over. Yeah, I feel like I might just kind of stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take the over. I think maybe a little theatrics, a little.
Although he's not really, I mean, he's very like talented, but I feel like he might kind of keep it tight. I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go under.
Okay.
I think he's going to keep it nice and tight. I don't think he's going to go too crazy with it because I don't think he's got that flashy, from what I've seen.
Okay.
I don't think it's that flashy. I think it's going to be straight, precise, to the point, very like solid, and walk away with that under a minute 40.
All right. I'll take the over.
All right.
Number two, heads or tails on the coin toss.
Tails never fails, except in this case, I'm going heads.
Okay. I always pick heads when I get a coin flip.
Yeah.
If it's the what do they call it? The commemorative coin that has like a Chief
NFL,
logo or a whatever logo.
Yeah.
Who's winning the toss then? If we don't get the heads or tails, who's winning the toss?
Oh, it's always Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, always.
Right. I'm gonna take Philly. They're gonna set the tone.
Set the tone early.
Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. First commercial. I'll let you have two picks.
Okay. We want to go exact. We want to go product. We want to go company. We want to go.
In general is fine.
General.
If you got a product you're thinking, if you're.
I think I went I think I went Doritos like
you did
last year. I don't believe it was Doritos.
Well, what it was last year was Wicked.
It was Wicked.
You remember that?
All right. So
it could be some blockbuster movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Some Avengers crap.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything like that.
Not that you know of.
Yeah, that's true. But they kind of come out with commercials like they
Dude, we did not know that Wicked thing was coming out last year.
No, you're right on that. You're right. Okay, so it's got to be something that hasn't come out already. Maybe not a product.
I got my first pick.
You do?
I do.
What do you have?
Out the gate, I'm thinking Bud Light is gonna try to make a comeback and get in the good graces with the NFL audience.
Yeah.
I think Bud Light out the gate.
They're back,
hard.
huh? They're
gonna try.
back.
That's my. We get two picks, but they're gonna be my first one.
I feel like Modelo's been making a big push to like capture the sports market.
You want Modelo?
No, I'm not going to pick that one.
I don't think they would.
No.
They're not going to come out the gate.
No, I don't think. No, they're going to go somewhere down
third quarter.
Third quarter, yeah. We'll get a little bit like third rounder, where they get a little bit more value for their pick. I'm going to go a phone carrier.
Okay.
I'll go phone carrier, and little maybe underneath that, I'm going to go T-Mobile because they have the Patrick Mahomes they've had it going on for a little bit, like his whole campaign.
Okay, phone carrier. Okay, yeah. You get one more.
All right, one more.
Bud Light. My next guess would be some type of movie.
Movie.
Yeah,
that's probably.
I know that's kind of like, But Bud Light or a movie trailer
Yeah.
of the next upcoming
How's
Marvel or DC or whatever
Yeah.
those.
How's Cal Worthington? Is he still putting out commercials?
Well, not that I know of.
I'll go just to kind of get another pick in there. I'll go food.
Go back to chips. Maybe this is the year. Maybe this is the year Doritos brings it.
It could be, but you got me thinking like it's going to be some kind of event like that, though. I just can't think of like something like a movie or anything that's going pretty recently. I'll go with the food. I'll go Buffalo Wild Wings. Just on that number, talking about how many Buffalo Wings are eaten. I'm gonna go B-Dub 3.
All right.
Yeah, and they have that commercial with Kelsey, not Travis Kelsey, but the other Kelsey.
Okay.
So I'll go B-Dub 3.
Okay, so you got phone carrier,
T-Mobile,
or a phone carrier. You'll get it. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah,
I'm going Bud Light or a movie trailer.
Yeah. That's I feel like that's going to be that's a solid pick right there.
All right, here we go. Number 4.
All right.
First touchdown. You can give me a player. You can give me the team. You can give me a run or pass. We're not going to count first points because first points could be a field goal. I don't want to do that. So first touchdown. Who's going to be the first player to score?
Well, as of recently, or as of actually this whole year, Kansas City has kind of come out pretty flat. I'll go Philadelphia, and none other than Saquon Barkley. That dude's going to be.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll give him. He's going to break off a 20, 30-yard run and get that whole Philly crowd into it.
Okay, I'm going to take Philly also, but I think it's going to be Jalen on a tush push.
On a touch, but that's a good call. That's a good call.
They're going to get it down, boom, and put it in.
Yeah.
So I guess we both. Okay, Saquon, run or pass? Is he catching on the backfield or is he running it?
No, he runs it. It's going to be a true handoff, I formation. Just get behind. Do they have a fullback?
Dude, their O-line is really good. I read this stat the other day, or someone told me. So he has the most yards with before contact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do the old Emmitt Smith stat
right,
there.
So he's like, the O-line's moving dudes.
Yeah.
And so he's going. He gets the most yards before anyone touches him.
That says a lot about that line.
That could come in a little bit later.
We'll see.
All right. Last touchdown.
We'll go Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but we'll go Patrick Mahomes on a little QB sneak.
QB scramble, maybe.
Scramble, not a sneak. It won't be. It'll be just making something happen. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go Xavier Worthy catching a pass.
Okay.
From Patrick Mahomes. It's gonna be some type of swing.
A little bubble screen.
Something.
Yeah.
Some type of off of motion type of deal. But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. All right. Who is getting the MVP?
I think Saquon Barkley has his storybook ending with an MVP. I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to say he puts on a clinic. I think Jalen Hurts is always, he kind of like, I mean, as good as he is, he always just kind of like he kind of lets the other guy shine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got such a, like, he's so humble in that way. You know what I mean? Like he's not flashy. He doesn't like throw it in your face. I think he would much rather that the spotlight go on someone else rather than him. So I think he'll play well. But I think Saquon is, we talked about it before, he's a man on a mission.
Yeah.
I think he's going to will himself to just every yard that he gets. I don't think he's going to take a down off. I can see him putting up some numbers.
All right. I'm going to go. God, this kills me to say it. I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes. Dang, Pat Mahomes. Gosh dang it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a safe bet.
Color of the Gatorade. I got mine.
You're dialed in.
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. I'm taking blue.
I think orange is the most popular one. I think I've done that in years past, so I'll go orange.
Orange
It's going to go orange.
All right. Next up, the amount of Taylor Swift sightings. Now, we did this last year.
Yeah.
Okay. And I took track. I did pre-game. I did during the game.
Right.
And then I did post-game.
Right.
So last year we set it at like 6.5.
Yeah.
Way off.
Oh,
grand total was like 20 last year.
Yeah.
So this year I'm going to set it at 14.5.
Okay.
So, but it's up to you. Do you want to do pre, post, during? Do you want to do all of it?
Well, is the 14 considering all of that, or is it just game?
Or do we go 14.5 just during?
So last year's was 20 pregame. I think they probably double down on it. I would say.
So do you want to do all three? Or do you want to do just during? Because last year was just during. I just kept track of everything else.
Right. I think. I mean, I guess if we're going all even like pre, then it's for sure going to be over. I mean, I think it at least matches last year.
Okay,
if we go during.
Yeah, let's do during. We'll set during at 14.5.
Because that makes more sense if we just kept it on pace with last year. Because last year was probably 14 or 15 plus the pregame, which was another 5 or so.
Okay, we'll do during and then a grand total. Okay, so during, let's set that at 14.5.
I'm going to go over. I'll go over.
Okay.
Yeah.
And total.
I think just do last year's total.
Let's set it. It was 20. So let's set it at 20 and a half.
Over under is 20
and a half.
I'll still go over. I think they saw well, especially because it's like even more of a story now. It's like, I guess you can go both ways, because back then it was new and fresh, and now it's kind of old news. But she hasn't like lost any popularity. If anything,
they showed her a ton during the playoff games.
They did, yeah.
Last
year was because she was like kind of flying back and forth. She like was like coming from a show in Japan or something like that. And I think this year, I think she's gonna do it up a little bit, like with her like outfit. It's gonna be more like attraction on the outfit.
Okay, during I'm going to take over, but grand total of 20.5, I'm going to say under.
Oh, so you're going to go
maybe
only 5 on the
pregame. They're not going to show her as much. They'll show her at least once,
right?
But they'll show other stars too.
Yeah,
and then postgame, God.
Oh, so postgame that's after the game.
Yeah.
So depending on how it ends up is going to be the tell too. Because you got an extra 3 or you got a bump of 3 or 4.
If she loses, if the Chiefs lose,
they're booking it out of there. You're not going to see her.
No proposal then.
Or do you get the sad shot? Because people want to see the sad shot more than they want to see the happy shot.
Turn that shit into a meme. Yes. Yes. Okay, number 9. Does Kelsey propose if the Chiefs win?
No, I'm not doing it. I think
last year we were both like on it. We were like, oh, hell yeah.
Were we? I thought it was more like they're private, not.
No, Mike Walters talked to us about it and was like, dude, he's not doing that. So you're saying no?
I'm saying no. Just because everything that they've done has been like super private. I don't see them just about face doing like a whole different like, oh, now we're going to make everything so public.
I'm going to say yes.
Really?
I'm going to say yes because she has seemed more into the games. She seems very like supportive.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
More so rather than last year was kind of like, oh, I'm here, I'm hanging out.
She definitely
a little bit more invested.
Yeah. Well, this is like, this is her sophomore year in football.
She's got a little more skin in the game.
She's got a little bit, and she probably understands more.
Pun intended.
So
skin in the game. Sorry.
Oh, jeez.
My bad. Sorry, you were saying she understands more.
Yeah, I think she's more invested just overall, just knowing the game more, knowing like what's on the line. And it's like, I think it's less like of a booze party fest and it's more serious. Like there's a lot more on it, you know?
Yeah. All right. Last one. Who's winning it?
Man, this is. I mean, as much as I feel like Saquon Barkley will have his storybook ending with his MVP, I don't. I think the story stops there, and Patrick Mahomes just does what everybody just expects him to do, and what he expects himself to do, and walks away with the three-peat. Unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to go off and have a statistical. He's not going to go off in that way. I think he's just going to do enough to win the game. It'll be a very lackluster way of winning the game. They'll be up and then they'll just run out the clock, and they'll just just like how they did in the previous game.
Yeah. Well,
we'll see.
I was gonna say I'm gonna pick the Chiefs also, but that's my brain picking that. My heart, I really want Philly to win.
Yeah,
I really do. I think they can do it.
Yeah,
I think Saquon is running like a madman. The O-line. The scariest part, though, and I've been talking to other people about it, is you've given Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the entire coaching staff of the Chiefs to come up with new plays. And if you think about it, last year, I remember the post Super Bowl episode that we did, and I drew the plays that they ran.
Yeah.
And dude, they haven't shown these plays on film, and they've practiced them for 2 weeks. They're going to execute them.
Yeah.
And those plays are borderline impossible to stop. You're going to see new route combinations. You're going to see new motions, and it's just hard. And I think, like you were saying, the Eagles are going to do a really good job.
Yeah.
Right? Their best weapon is to hold on to the ball, run the ball with Saquon, eat up the clock.
Yeah.
But, dude, if it turns into a shootout, you're not going to outscore.
No,
you're not going to outscore.
You're not going to outscore. I think that
at all.
I think Philadelphia, like you're right, they need to hold on to it as long as they possibly can. I think,
and I want them
in those positions, in those moments where you're gonna like you just cannot let your foot off the gas. That goes without saying, obviously, but saying it and doing it are two different things. Yeah. And if you give Patrick Mahomes time at the end of the second quarter or at the end of the game or towards the end of the game,
he's going to do a
he's just going to find a way. I mean, unless something, when we saw him play against the Bucks in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady, and when he lost, he was running for his life every single play. He could not get comfortable. He was getting caught.
Well, the Eagles D-line is very good.
If they can
get after him.
If they can get after him, and if they can run him down, and they could, put some pressure and just contain him, man, really, that's it.
Yeah.
Make him throw. But even then, like he's super accurate. But I think if you can contain him and just make him throw, I think that's your best bet. Make him beat you with his arm and not
arm and legs.
Arm and legs. Yeah. Like, just hold on for dear life, man. If they can come out early, get some points on the board, and just hold on.
Yeah, Eagles got to weather the storm a little bit.
Yeah.
At some point, there's going to be a storm. It could be early on, but they got to just settle in.
Yeah.
But I think the Eagles can do it. I'm just not going to bet against the Chiefs. I'm going to pick them. I'm not going to bet against them. But I think Philly can do it. They can. Yeah, they just have to execute and play well.
Just execute, play well, hold on to the
usual
ball.
Talking points. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, it's just like really when you distill it down to that. I think both teams just have. Hopefully, it doesn't come down to penalties. Hopefully, it just doesn't come down to critical, fourth down, offsides or something. Like, all right, look, if the Eagles jump offsides. Or if
the breaks.
Fine, them's the breaks.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give the edge to one team, it's going to be Kansas City because they're well coached and they will, they don't make a lot of those kinds of mistakes. Eagles have to just play sound football all day long, minimize the mistakes, and man, just hold on to the ball. It's the name of the game.
I hear it. Keep it out of old Patrick's hands, and you might be all right.
If that's the case, if it's the fourth quarter, a couple minutes left, and it's in Hurts' hands, I think that's the best case scenario.
Run the clock, baby. Run the clock. All right.
Well, that's in.
That's it, man.
Getting set. It's in the books. By the time we get to the next recording, we'll know who's won this Super Bowl. So yeah, we'll come back and do a little assessment after that. Have some fun stuff planned after that. In the meantime, like, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real on the Field. Catch you guys
Enjoy the
next time.
game.
All right.